recording here so we can get going. We're the beginning of the summer, right? This is our first June meeting, I think. FOMC is next week for you guys that aren't around daily in the trading room or team room. That's a big event. That's next week, right? Let me undo Peter's mic. Oops, wrong guy. Oop, wrong guy. Peter, is that next week?
I believe so. I'm double checking right now.
All right.
Yep, sure is. It's on the 15th.
Wednesday. So they have the press conference on the 15th. That's a week from tomorrow. They have the statement, then the subsequent press conference. That's going to be something the markets are going to wait for. They're going to wait for. They priced in 50-50 prior to that anemic jobs report. So you take that into consideration and the fact that they missed really badly last Friday. That kind of lowered the Fed Fund futures, the 50-50. There's two meetings this summer. They're every 6 weeks. So one next week and one towards the end of July. Might not be until the September meeting or something in the fall. If you remember, the Fed planned on raising rates at every other meeting after they raised it for the first time in December. And then that whole Chinese weakness came, destroyed our markets, backed the Fed all the way back to at least the summer. Now here we are in the summer, and there's less than a 50% chance they bump it a quarter. Yellen was talking out of both sides of her mouth yesterday as far as being hawkish / dovish. Really didn't paint any clearer picture. So now we're just in this boring grind that just, for lack of a better word, stinks to trade because there's just not a lot of opportunity. You could sit, you go watch, but if you overwatch, if you analyze, you're going to overtrade, and nothing to show for overtrading in markets like this. Nothing. So you really got to stay focused in the team room that we have so you could surround yourself and not be and get bored. Why don't we start with you, Peter, and I'll share your screen here. Let me make you a presenter. Give it a second as the screens will go from me to Peter. You know how to share your screen, right? There you go. Looks good.
Yeah, it's got.
I like your backgrounds. They're gray. That's cool.
Yeah, it works for my eyes.
How long have you been using the gray backgrounds?
For years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a long time.
How far are you away from Northfield, the Edens and Willow?
Oh, not far at all. It's very close. Probably less than 10 minutes.
What's that frontage road that runs kind of like along the Edens, and there's then some car lots?
Old Skokie.
And that's right. If you were to take Willow and you were to turn right before the going east.
Yeah, you get off on Tower Road. And it runs right into it.
Well, no, if you're going east on Willow towards the Edens, and just before the Edens you turn left, and then that takes you on that frontage road, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's Old Skokie. Yeah,
there's a Walgreens right there?
Yeah, there is on the right-hand side, and a Mariano's, right.
All right, so you turn left, but you turn left. That was right where our first office was.
Ah, okay.
Those old one-story buildings, they're older.
Yeah.
Before the car lots. You didn't have to drive that far. And I imagine those buildings are still there, right?
They're still there. In fact, I think several of them are like these executive offices for lawyers and
yeah, there's a 2-story, 3 or whatever office building just on the other side of the parking lot. We had the 1-story office, almost most of it rented out, and he just kept renting more space as we grew. But he traded out of there from 98 through 04. In the fall of 04, we moved to Glenview and Patriot and Willow. I know you know where that is. They built all that up.
Yes.
And all right, that's it. I just know Peter lived by where I used to commute every day. I remember the first, and I'll tell you a story because it's interesting. The first, thinking I'm out of the business, and I'm driving down Willow Road, and I'm not familiar with the north side, north suburbs. I grew up in the near western suburbs my whole life. Never went up north. Driving down unfamiliar territory down Willow Road thinking, well, I don't know what these guys are doing here, but I'm probably out of the business, because I wasn't making it trading in the pit. And I'm driving down Willow Road, and it turned my whole career around.
Fantastic.
But going there was a lot of anxiety because first of all, I didn't know if there was any opportunity when I first drove there. I didn't know what the hell they were doing, right? And then secondly, it's scary because even if there was, are you going to get hired? That type of thing. So that was in 2000, April of 2000. It was late April is when I got hired like 2 weeks after I met the guys. It was pretty quick. All right. Well, not to take away from what Peter's showing us. Are these your main charts? So this is like what your main reference is?
Yeah. These are my 4 main ES charts. I have an ancillary chart. If I slide something over, it'll just pop up, right? Yeah, so I just slid over my ancillary. So that's my ancillary.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that.
I use these quite a bit. They're just right off to my right-hand side. I don't like to stare at them. There's too much going on there to stare at. So I use these, and typically, like this morning, I used it this morning. I could show you exactly what happened this morning in the Globex session. This is my delta reversal chart, and this area right here, right where this bar is right here, in this area right here, we had a nice strong up move last night, a lot of delta to the top there. It's coming down. We're in the Globex session, but what was really cool was the what happened with the NQ. The NQ right in here, it just went off this cliff. Now, it went off this cliff before the ES did. And right in here, so you can see as I'm coming over right here, the NQ goes off the cliff. Right? It's already going down. The ES is not doing anything. So right in this middle of this fight, this is one of your great little entries, 13.5. Came back up, took it as the ES normally likes to do, and then we just dropped on down as the Qs were going down. So the Qs were already going down, another plateau down. So that was probably one of my, right now, that's today, that's been my trade today because I had to leave for a little while with school out, so I missed these 2 longs that I was looking for. I was hunting, I missed those. Ted's up here hunting these 16.25s and 17.5s. And you can see with the delta, what I like to do is a little bit different than what Dave and George does. Although they use this chart, they may not rely on this quite as much as I do. I set it up to be, this is the 20-some delta, so we're just oscillating back and forth. And what I love to do is when we're up here in this area here, I'm more apt to want to try and short up here, and obviously more apt to want to buy more down here. So I'm getting that reversion back, playing the edges. And up here, as we came off the top here, so we still have a lot of delta that can come off, and there's still more room to the downside. So you don't be too nervous that, well, I'm sitting right about 0. There's still significant downside potential here with this. And then when you brought in the ancillary, you saw the Qs going down. That to me was just a good spot.
What time was this? Like this was right before
about 6:35, 6:45 in the morning.
So you're looking at the delta. You're saying it's 0, so there's still more downside left in it. There's some selling that could come.
Right.
It's not like it's that price and it's minus 4,000.
Right. And it's a Globex session, so you have to kind of change your view a little bit. You're not going to always get the extreme. If I would have been up for the European Open, this was obviously a nice extreme move up here, but it just looked like it was coming down. It was a decent risk reward. We're right here. I knew I was going to be wrong if it went up above there, so I took my shot.
Much better price action overnight than in our first hour, 2 hours.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then now we're kind of waiting for a move here above. We got the Globex high tag, and you traded a tick through it. I know a couple of edge guys, or one of them picked this one up. Anna might have too, I'm not sure. And then some of us were talking about we're still kind of waiting for this to come back up towards this, like about 5,000, 10,000 would be really nice. Move above 16. The reason why we're kind of looking for that to be higher is, let me bring up this chart here. Okay. The other thing we're looking at, this is a daily chart of the ES, and it's got some Fibonacci extensions. Don't pay too much attention to those. couple Bollinger Bands, 3 standard deviation Bollinger Band, a 2 standard deviation Bollinger Band. We're just kind of like tapping the top of that so the market's extended. But what we've been doing too is looking at the standard deviation move on a daily basis, and right now it's 20.72, so 21. Where do you take that 2021? I don't know. From the bottom here, from the middle, from the top. In either case, what it kind of suggests, no matter where you take it from, is you need something between 2020 and 2030 on the ES to have a good chance for it to really swing down and give you a good payout on a short. So your risk reward's got to be really tight until we get up there around 2020, 2030. Then we probably get a good shot at something to short. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Now, probably what you want to hear about on the Delta chart. So even though I missed this long this morning, it was still a premium setup down through here as Delta's coming down this morning. And hopefully somebody in here caught along in this area. I think Dave said he caught something in this area this morning. What I wanted to point out was is kind of 2 things on the chart. Notice that we added this average trade size. This average trade size, you'll find that it actually shoots up. It averages right around 2.6, 2.8 most of the time. And then suddenly you'll start seeing this average trade size. That seems to be an indication that you're getting some large orders to come in. And you'll see that happen, and you'll see it then start to pivot. So we have a delta that came down big, so we burned a lot of delta. We're burning less delta, a little bit of delta. We went positive here, but a down bar. And then we had these big trades come in here, a real small delta footprint. So only two bars, 2 ticks wide, and a large trade size. So that's something to kind of
Is that delta just of filtered size, that first line? What is that what it's tracking?
Not a filtered size, it's just delta.
Oh, I see. So when that grows, you say
when you see the guys are talking about we've put a lot of delta in on this bar, on a bar, that's what they're looking at.
Got it. On the 987s.
Yeah. Now the next one that we like to see is, you see when it goes to almost 0, right here, 27?
Sure.
Also kind of near a pivotal area for a little scalp. Okay. Trade size here, 6.4. Another big increase in the order size and a real small footprint. Okay. And right after a large negative delta. So this is a
big
really good
increase in order size. What are you talking about?
The average size of the trades is 6.4 contracts. On the footprint bar statistics.
You're looking at the bottom. I got it.
Yes,
I'm looking
right here.
All right, I get it. I'm looking at the other number. I didn't see.
So you need to see, you see a number here, and then you see a small, only 2 tick wide delta bar. That's an interesting location. Again, here, small delta.
So the averages look to be around 2.5 to 3.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
When it gets above that, it's usually
interesting.
Turn.
Mm-hmm. Or it's something you want to take note of. Yeah, it
What
turns a lot.
What are they? That's calculating what exactly? The average size. It's the average size of what?
Of the trades in that bar.
The trades in that bar.
That's what we've surmised so far.
Well, what stipulates a trade, though? What do you mean, of trades in that bar?
A tick. Average number of trades per.
Trades.
You have to go back into the help and look up the definition.
Well, so I'm saying, if it trades once, ticks. How would that work? Ticks once, ticks 3 times, ticks 4 times, ticks 5 times, ticks 6 times, and then ticks the offer. That would be 6? Definition?
Anthony, your guess is better than mine on that.
I think that might be it. Doesn't matter how many contracts trade.
How many trade at that tick before it actually, before it moves up?
Up or down, yeah. Before the next price trades. So right
Because you're not
now,
going to know the exact trades.
right now it's 15.5 bid at 1575, and so it's ticking 15.5. Usually it'll go bid offer, bid off. They don't trade bid offer, but they don't change bid offer, but the trades on the bid and offer go tick, 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 tick. That's where your average of 2 to 3 come in. I'm just guessing here. So when let's say right now they just traded on 1575, you guys are looking at a dome, and it ticked once. And then if a couple more trade, it ticks again. And if 100 trade, it ticks again. That's 3. If one more trade, it ticks again. That's 4. If another 50 trade, it ticks again. That's 5. And it keeps track of that until it ticks the bid. And when it gets to 5 or 6, that means that they're lifting, in this example, they were lifting the offer before they hit the bid a lot. A lot of different number of trades were coming in. And what you're saying is when it gets to 5 or 6, there's a turn if there was a move?
It seems to be that way.
Okay.
Yeah, we see that a lot.
Because that means maybe it's absorbing then.
That's what we've been looking at it as. The explanation between the bid and the offer, that's awesome. I didn't quite get that reading the documentation. This is, and this is what we're seeing. So it's kind of something recent we've just been toying with.
No, I like that because you measure the move or not. You know it moved down, and then what that's showing you, I think what that would show you is more average trades, meaning they're absorbing that aggressiveness. So the market moves down and they're absorbing the selling, and it won't move down anymore, and that's why the average size is going up.
Okay. I think the reason why we may have been also thinking that it was because large orders were coming in is because we see in some other tool sets that we use that there's large lot orders in those areas.
Well, that could be too if that's the definition of it. If it's a different definition, I'll look into it and see what it is. Either way, it's rational as to why it would work.
More to peel back on that one for sure. So that was kind of, so this, this on the delta, this is something we've been leaning on, I say along with over on the tick chart. This seems to work best on a tick chart, and leaning on this one right here to kind of give us kind of a oversold, overbought frame of reference. All these green lines on my chart are just basically a lot of my pre-work. I don't spend a ton of time. I spend less time on my pre-work now than I used to because I'm depending more on what's actually happening during the auction, during the day.
No, that's good. You're spending less time on your homework?
Yeah, I spend less time on the homework. So I'm trying. We are all prisoners of our bias, and I am definitely in chains when it comes to my bias. So I'm trying hard to remove as much of a.
Hey, that's what gets people divorced.
Yeah.
We're prisoners of our bias, and
yeah.
Sometimes that's just your best out is divorce, just like the trade out button. But yeah, if you could, hey, I think you do. Most of your information and learning is done in the classroom, not at night. Homework. Now, homework is important, whatever, helps you reinforce what you learned. But if you're not absorbing anything when the real time action's going on, homework is meaningless. It's just gonna, you're gonna do it.
You're just a profile trader then.
Hey, real quick, let's rewind because there's a couple questions I missed about the standard deviation.
Okay.
What is it right now?
Right now it's 20.72 right here.
When you say 20, that's
20 handles.
20 handles for the day, or what?
Yes, the average move, right, or the average for that day for the total. Right now, what it's taking. This is not the average for the day. This is the standard, one standard deviation move. So all moves with 66% and to be maintain about 20 handle move.
Mm-hmm. Over what period of time?
Over a day, one day.
A 20 handle move. How does that differ from a range?
Low to high. So that's just a range for the day. Low to
high. It is
high.
the range. Okay, so it's not necessarily a move. It could be a range. It is the range.
Correct. It is range. It's just a fall. So one standard deviation right now is 20. So if we were to move 25, 30 handles for a day, that's outside of one standard deviation move.
So when you quoted the 20, 30, 20, 30, 20, what did that mean?
That just meant that. So if I look at like, if we're looking at where the midpoint of this of yesterday's bar is, okay, so say it's like 2105. We're 2025, then is 20 handles higher.
Got it.
All right, is all. So I think our best swing short or best opportunity, the best way to get a really good short is going to be once we move that. If we're to move that much today, if today we were to wind up around 2025, 2125, it's probably going to be a good opportunity to short up in that area.
I understand. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's all that is.
Another question. When is it clear that the algos are engaged in a move? Does the average size of trade skyrocket, confirming an algo? That's an interesting question, Tom.
But I wouldn't have any way to know.
I'm going to watch this average size a little more and then see if I can't get back to you. I think, algos have such a wide definition as to what they are. What is an algo? What isn't, it's an algorithm. Well, okay, what is it? Is it just high frequency trading? Is that part of algos? You write an algorithm to pop in trades at a very high frequency. Then you got to realize that those guys are just trying to play for a tick, and they're front running in some cases and using information faster, 5,000 times faster than the blink of an eye. All that's so. I mean, I think that if you could get an average size to go up with price not moving after a move, price isn't going down. It could be like the liquidation of everybody's out. Now it could go back up. So on a move down, you finally shook out all the longs. Now you can move back up.
Yeah, my hesitation on trying to delve, having never wanting to dive too deep into that, is I start trying to rationalize that price action. As I want to do is be more reactionary to what I'm saying against areas where we've seen historically people have an interest to buy or sell.
Yeah, no, I like that. Just be quick with the reaction as using it for a reference instead of a study.
Yeah, otherwise it's analysis paralysis for myself. That's why I think I'm a little bit different than most of the other edge guys from the standpoint of I only have two 30-inch screens. Most of the other guys have 6 to 8. I think one person has 12, and that works for them, and they provide some really good input. But for my eyes and processing, I've found that this chart mix that I have up on the screen right now has been where I've had the most success.
That's good real estate though, 230s.
Yeah, I get it quite a bit on here. I mean, what I really can't do is I can't bring in like bonds and oil. I can bring them in with this chart here and one other chart, maybe this one or that one, without the reversal. But I still find for myself personally, I do best when I really just focus on the ES, and I'm trading up to 11 now, so it's been good.
Your size 11?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Good.
So
that's your all-time high
for 3 months. My all-time high? I've traded bigger than that when I was a fool, a bigger fool than I am today. But yeah, right now my average size is 11.
That's good. Well, you're going up for the right reasons this time.
Yeah, I kind of applied. One of your modules was about how to increase size, and I've been following that on a week-to-week basis. I'll just up one if I've had a good week, and I haven't had to endure a lot of pain and trying to get that week.
Hey, I want to ask another question, or just Dave came back with the average size definition is total volume divided by total trades, which are ticks, tick, 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 tick. So total volume I'm thinking through this, divided by total trades. The amount of ticks of 5 lot within a bar, not within that price?
No, within
within a bar. So if you had a bar, which would be, but in a bar would be that price. I'm gonna watch it. Let me watch it. Yeah, let me open up Dave's mic. And that's what's cool about these meetings. It's like a conference room. We're all in here. All right, Dave. I opened up your mic. You had unmuted on your end.
Okay, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Sorry, I'm in the car, so you got the speakerphone. So what you're doing within a single bar, it adds up all the trades that happen. Let's say you've got 100 contracts that changed hands, but then there was only 20 trades, 20 ticks made up those 100 contracts. Then the average is 5.
Got
But
it.
if it took 50 ticks to make those 100 contracts, then the average is 2. So it's smaller players. So as Peter pointed out, I'll just reiterate, when the number gets bigger, the larger players, the bigger orders are playing more within that bar.
Within that bar. And then when it gets up to 5 or 6, that's above average.
Correct.
I see. I get it. Then they're
I think
coming up.
we looked at it in the vertical axis as well, and that didn't really talk to me. I don't know that Peter doesn't look like it was speaking to you either, since you don't have it on the chart anymore.
No, it did not, sir.
So it'll do it at the price level too, Anthony. So you can do it vertically as Peter has it on the bar, or you can do it horizontally on price. You can do it either way, but the horizontal one doesn't speak to two of us. That doesn't mean it won't speak to you or somebody else.
Hey, toot your horn.
Don't.
I'm parked now, so I'll attract attention I don't want.
No, that cleans it up for me. I understand now. I get it. Where it's showing you there's bigger players or bigger sized trades per tick. So it's like 50, 20, 20, 50. Does that make sense? Where I'm ticked on the same price. You know how it always shows how much trades on a down tick? I don't know if you guys see this on your dome, but let's say 16 halves are bid. Forget about how much is bid there, but let's say someone just sells 20. It'll show 20. Oh, it would show 20 up on the footprint too, right? 20. Well, here, let me say it ticks 5 times. It goes 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. What would that be in the average size? 20.
Sounds like 20 to me. As long as it's all in the same bar, it's 20.
It's 20. Yeah, but I mean, in the average size, would that be 100 divided by 5?
Yes. No, yeah, 100 divided by 5, so it's 20. You
20.
do 5 trades at 20, the average is 20.
Well, which would be 20 on the bottom, which would be huge because you don't see that often.
Right.
Which you also don't see 20s get hit in a row like that, like 20, 20, 20, 20. You usually got some ones mixed in there, which lowers the average size number. All right. I'm going to put this up and start watching it. But that's a good explanation, Dave. Appreciate it. Be careful driving, would you?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. Thanks again. All right. I'm muted, Dave. Well, that was good. I like that because it's like the last bit of liquidation on the end of a move.
That's what it looks like.
That's a turn. Because markets are always, I've said this for years, opportunities are always at the turns.
Yes.
But you also can't get run over. You know, you can't be a fighter. You have to be a
We don't want to
fighter.
step in front of the train.
Right.
Right. I mean, so this is going down. It was a long bar today. We didn't have too many long bars today.
Is this a 4 PNF? No, this is the 987.
Yeah, 987. So here's my 4. So then that area down there where we saw those small deltas, and then we saw the average size increase. You get really good buying and selling imbalances. It pivots too. So this still is, if you had nothing else, I think you just use this chart.
How has your trading been, Peter? Has it been good? If you had nothing else, use this chart. How's your trading been?
Good, really good. I've been judicious in terms of adding in some of the new charts, and there's lots of other ideas that are being people are discussing, but this still I think is one of my favorites.
Have you felt like a nice turn has happened since the introduction of the Delta profile and all this delta stuff?
Yeah, because the delta, it's a great checkbox when you see that delta starting to decrease in intensity. You're starting to see these numbers jiggle and wiggle in the right direction. You're starting to see a nice like a zero crossing here. The 149, a real small delta off of an area. This is all just great. Instead of just guessing, you now have it's just a much clearer picture of that. Or if I didn't have it here because I don't have any imbalances right here, maybe I shy away from that one, but now I have this right here, so this actually helps.
It's a great confident builder. Like,
yeah.
Take a shot. You shouldn't get killed if you're wrong.
Well, you can at least respect yourself that, okay, if I take a shot off the VWAP here, it's going to be very hard to catch 1250 unless you're very lucky. You get super quick fingers.
Right.
You're more likely you're going to get this like right around 13 or so, so you know you got a decent stop. You know exactly that, hey, my risk is down here.
You got breathing room, and it's not too much. It's not
right.
Several points of sitting into a trade before you realize you're wrong. Go over one of your trades today. How many trades? Well, let me ask you this. How many trades did you make today?
Because today's been a shorter day for me. I just had the one trade. I'm looking to try and get something short up here, but I haven't quite got it yet. I need to kind of like to see the delta some a bit higher. See a nice long up bar. I don't see it yet, so I'm going to wait and let this bar finish before I get short or try a short. But right now, the best trade I had was this morning, and it was this trade back here at where's my morning at here? This is a long day. Up here. It was right up here. This right here.
Before 8.
Yeah, before 8. That was my best trade of the day. It's been my only trade of the day.
And you line that up with what? The NASDAQ?
I lined this up with the NASDAQ. And we had already had built a lot of delta, and we're coming off. And so we still had room on the downside on the delta sum, and we had a large delta over here.
It's what I love about this, two things.
Right here.
An ancillary market
right
and order flow, two of the main ingredients. That's it. You didn't have any, highly analytical reasons that had to all line up for you to take that short. The NASDAQ was breaking, and the delta had more downside.
Yeah, the NASDAQ breaking was the big one.
Yeah.
That's a newer trade for me. A few months ago, I would not have taken that trade. I may have actually tried a long there, but seeing the NASDAQ break kept me from taking a long.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Ancillaries are huge eye-openers for people if they know how to use them, not try to use them tick for tick, but knowing that, hey, this SOB could break out, and if it does, we're going down with it. And now you're kind of watching two car dealerships instead of one to negotiate price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a big step. So that's my feeling with the Edge Room really getting people involved and sharing. That's the vision of the whole kind of course, is to make sure you never stop learning. And that's what's important. These weekly meetings to actually put voices to faces or faces to voices in the team room and to be around other people is reinventing a virtual office. But you almost got to do it. Do you feel guys are reviewing more?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a core group that do that really kind of contribute every morning to taking a look at what's happened and then discussing their trades, the successes and failures. It's kind of a core group. There's a few that haven't really jumped in, but I think most people are. There's been a few guys that text their.
That's good.
Stuff.
That's good. That's very similar to the meetings that we would have every day in the morning. They were short, they were brief, and everybody doesn't have to be on the same page, but when you're listening to guys that aren't full of themselves always, but have good input, it keeps you from marrying a bias. It's not about questioning your bias. It's about, a lot of people are like, I don't want to get talked out of my opinion. That's because they're not confident in the opinion to begin with. Sometimes you don't want to get talked out of, sometimes you do, but you just have to be able to know, well, I get distracted. If you get distracted, you got to work on that because you shouldn't.
It doesn't happen often, but we do have there's been a few times, I'd say maybe it's increased over the last 6 weeks or so, and I think that's a positive. We've had a couple people that were short or looking to get short, and others that were long and looking to get longer. So we've had a couple of those. It doesn't happen a lot, but
that's good, man. That's
it
healthy
happens.
stuff. And guys staying convicted to that position and not cheerleading it and not saying ha ha, not saying I told you so, because that's wouldn't be acceptable. But it's not about being right or being wrong or wishing or hoping. It's about just, hey, I could be wrong and he could be wrong, and we both can make money.
Exactly.
Both in good locations have a chance to both be wrong and make money, or one be right and not make as much as the guy who was wrong. In a mixture of things. That's what makes a market. And yet, that's cool because that's exactly how a prop firm was. Mm-hmm. Most guys were long and short together, but not everybody 100%. There was a long and a short here and there. No, that was did you always live up there? I mean, were you always around the Northfield area?
Yeah, I've been in this area more. I've been here in Deerfield for 10 years. Grew up in the Chicagoland area, Chicago for for a decade, and then out into the west, out to the burbs, way out by like Wakanda.
I bet you
where Blues Brothers was filmed. So their claim to fame.
Did they have you didn't know how close you were to a prop firm, or did you even know one existed?
I had no idea. No, I didn't. I thought they were all like in the city or out in New York. I didn't know that that opportunity was there. It's kind of funny because I was, thinking back. I knew what I was doing in 2000. I was working for a startup company. We were working with the Blackstone Group, the VC company. And that was a lot of fun. But I had just finished my MBA, so I was thinking, geez, missed an opportunity. That would have been a nice opportunity, too.
Well, you didn't know they existed. I mean, I didn't know what that business model was until I was introduced to it. I was just floored by how many people aren't privy to it that get into this business.
Yeah.
And it's like 99%.
It's been an eye-opener, Anthony.
Well, the community is the one thing that works if it's the right community, I think, and I guess in any business. Adam says he's glad that people are discussing these opinions and trades because in that team room's kept them out of some really bad trades. Just more eyes and ears on what matters. As long as you've got more eyes and ears on what matters, it's extraordinarily helpful. But it's come a long way. The team room has really morphed and gotten structured more. It's gotten better and better. Addition of different guys and personalities and stuff, so it's a good place to be. But this was a good session. I liked it. I'm going to add this average size on the footprint price statistics you said?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
All right, I'll add it, and we'll play around with it a little bit. I'll stop in the team room in a little while, guys. I'm going to stop the recording now. If you need access to the team room, email edge@marketdelta.com.